Laura Chacula, okay, versus MC Jam Incorporated DBA Creswell's Wrecking, which I know you're on Zoom. And I did read these yesterday, so I'm a little familiar, but you may proceed. I know it's about a car that was towed from your apartment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead. You may proceed.
So, Your Honor, on the night of 22 July 2025, my vehicle was seized from my apartment secured garage parking, despite being in full compliance with the apartment's policy. They towed my vehicle. It was then released the next morning, free of charge from me due to the improper nature of the towing. But my concern today is the damage that was sustained to my vehicle due to the damage basically with the vibrations and things to the infrastructure of the vehicle, leading to the removal of the fog light cover on the right front of the vehicle. So I included there in the packet some photos of first the towing report that I received. Some of the information on here was incorrect, specifically with a Texas registration not being from my vehicle. Further, the tow time is incorrect, which is a minute point, but just shows the errors throughout their process here. On arrival to retrieve my car, I did refuse to sign the defendant's liability waivers because I was concerned as my vehicle is not towed on a flatbed truck. I have an all-wheel drive vehicle, so this can damage the drivetrain. I did take my vehicle into the Subaru dealer to get it assessed, and before the inspection, I did note the damage to with the falling off of the fog light cover. So I did a walkthrough and I included some stills from that video walkthrough at the impound lot. And this does show the loosening of that fog light cover on the front right of my vehicle.
Okay,
I didn't
I'm
note
looking
that
at-
until it had fallen off afterwards and then reviewed the vehicle or the video.
And then it looks like you have scratches and
And Your Honor,
do you have a pictures prior to the towing?
yes, Your Honor, in the packet there, the tow photos in that email, the large where it says tow photos, those are the photos they took prior to taking my vehicle. You can see that the fog light cover is on there.
Okay.
When I did reach out to them regarding the claim process, as I was told after leaving the lot, if I noted further damage or something happened to my vehicle, that I should email that email address. They didn't respond until over 2 weeks later. And at that time, they referred to the scratch that had already been present on my vehicle, and I acknowledge that was actually present before I even moved to Texas. I recently PCS'd from Hawaii, so my vehicle was shipped across the Pacific Ocean, driven on a truck from San Diego to Dallas, and then I drove it from Dallas. So if that damage was sustained from that scratch, then I suspect that it would have fallen off prior to this incident.
Okay. I see that. So, do you have an estimate of how much?
Yes, ma'am. So I already got the estimate just from the dealer. This is just for the cost of the part for the damage. So it does not include the work involved. And then I also had to get a assessment for the drivetrain for my vehicle due to concerns about damage due to the nature of the towing. As the dealer recommends, the manufacturer recommends that my vehicle is towed on a flatbed truck.
So it's the $192.86 plus $100.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how much is it going to be, or can you just pop that on, or that light cover?
I was told I'd have to take it to a body shop, and so it could be anywhere from $100 to $150.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
So you didn't have to pay for the charge of the tow?
I did not. I had to wait 2.5 hours before my apartment leasing office opened. That's the time that I finally got the vehicle tow report. Prior to that, I didn't even know what happened to my vehicle. And so I actually filed a police report because there were no signs about towing in that area. But they released it free of charge to me due to the improper nature of the charge or of the tow.
Okay, and you're asking for $500. How are you coming up with $500?
For the part replacement, the repair cost of the body shop, and the cost for the evaluation of the drivetrain.
Does that come up with $292.86? With these two,
That doesn't include the repair cost for the putting it back on.
okay,
Which-
and you said it would be anywhere from 100 to 150?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm willing to accept just the charges of what's documented there. I've been dealing with this obviously for a long time. I have not gotten it repaired yet to this point.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm going to go ahead and share screen so I can share some documents with you this morning. We'll start with the release documents. This vehicle was released at no cost to the vehicle owner, simply because there was an error in the leasing office. This document itself is going to be the release document. And so the vehicle owners are filling out this information themselves. And as you can see, it was intaked by the dispatcher at 10:40, or the release clerk, at 10:40 a.m. on 7/23. This is just going to list the vehicle information. And then there is also this disclaimer here at the bottom. And this disclaimer is only an acknowledgement so that vehicle owners are aware that damage may occur by their vehicles being towed, and that they need to inspect their vehicles prior to leaving the storage facility, so that those things can be documented by the staff there, and we can start looking into it, because the tow trucks do have cameras, or they have a different camera system now, but it allows us to go back in and investigate the damage itself to make sure that who's liable. Was it done at the storage facility, or was it done at the towing company? So I'm just providing this. We'll go through the vehicle owner again. She did disagree with that she disagreed with having to inspect her vehicle. Then this is all presented to her before she makes it to the release window. Then once she gets up to the release window, again, she's reminded that her vehicle is being released at no charge. There's this, again, the exact same disclaimer saying, hey, damage could occur due to tow, and it is your job as a vehicle owner to inspect your vehicle prior to leaving. And it does say down here that they need to do it before leaving the premises, so that we can document it. So they're well aware that they have the right to come back up to the window and tell the vehicle release clerk that their vehicle was damaged, so that we can start the damage claim process, because then another form has to be filled out, pictures have to be taken by that release clerk, and then it goes to another department to be investigated, Your Honor. So this information was all presented to her at 10:20 in the morning. So there was lots of daylight outside, and she had more than an opportunity to inspect her vehicle, to let us know that her vehicle had sustained some sort of damage prior to driving out of the lot. And again, she had to fill out a hold harmless because her vehicle was released at no cost. And again, that disclaimer is on there again, one last time, saying, hey, if you notice damage, you need to point it out to us so that we can properly document it, and those parties that are responsible can be held responsible. So we'll go over to the pre-tow photos as well. I'm sharing the right screen now. And I have two pre-tow photos of the area, which was also shared via email. We'll go ahead and kind of zoom in here, because this is the affected area. We can see that the front bumper is loose, so it's not secured to the vehicle. You can also see that there was that scratch damage, but more importantly, we're going to go ahead and look at right here. This damage here where the fog light, it doesn't look like it's properly secured to the vehicle. It looks like it may be loose here in this front part. And if we switch over to this other view, which the driver took of a front view, you can also see that the vehicle here up in this upper corner of the fog light, there is some separation from the front bumper and the fog light itself. And so this vehicle was driven out. As she noted in her packet, which she did email to me as well, she drove out of the lot and the fog light was still intact when she left. There was no report to us prior to the July 28th email, letting us know that that the fog light had been damaged and that it was possibly going to fall off. We didn't get anything from the vehicle owner until after the fog light had completely fallen out of its socket, and then we were held responsible for it.
Okay. All right. So, when you picked up the vehicle, the fog light was on. The fog light
Yes, Your
cover
Honor.
was on.
Mhm.
And, when did you realize, or when did you,
It was after I drove it on the highway when I was going back to my vehicle after work. I had already missed a half a day of work. And so after I returned to my vehicle after the duty day, then I noticed that it was off. But upon reviewing the video, I noted that it was not, these aren't photos I took, that was their tow photos. But on the video walkthrough, I noted that it was further loosened. Obviously, I'm not a fortune teller, otherwise I would have resecured that before I drove my vehicle off the lot. But again, they reassured me that I could come back with further damages, whether that be from infrastructure or whatnot related to the tow.
okay. This vehicle should have not been towed in the first place. And so,
Well, Your
the,
Honor, I will just interject. The vehicle was only released at no cost because the leasing manager failed to register the vehicle within the parking system.
yes,
Otherwise, the vehicle would have been properly registered, but that's not even the case at this point because we're not here for the tow. We're here for the damage that she sustained. And
understand.
like I said, we have a damage claim process. And so the information that she's saying is incorrect because the dispatch or the release clerk would not have told her to come back. Like I showed you those documents, we have those forms in place for a reason so that there's no misinterpretation of our process.
Okay. Number one, it shouldn't have been towed. I know it's not your fault, but it's the apartment complex who didn't register the vehicle. It is like she said, an
But she's
all-wheel
not suing the
drive. It's
apartments,
an
Your
all-wheel
Honor.
drive. Excuse me. It's an all-wheel drive. It should not have been. It should have been on a flatbed, and y'all should know that. Being
We towed the vehicle on dollies. There was no vehicle. There's no reason that the vehicle had to be on a flatbed. It was towed with additional wheels on the back of the vehicle, so there was no damage to the drivetrain. Otherwise, she would have had transmission damage.
And what did you find? What did they find at the dealership?
They didn't find transmission damage, but it is still a manufacturer recommendation to tow it on a flatbed rather than a dolly. Obviously, that's a easier solution for them, but it doesn't secure my vehicle properly.
And why didn't you sue the apartment complex?
I'm not trying to sue or anything for like improper tow. I'm already pursuing that through the TLDR. And they're actually pursuing prosecution right now for that. My concern is just the damages to the vehicle, which I didn't see that the apartment complex was liable for. This is due to the nature of the tow being improperly secured and the vibrations and mechanical structural damage.
All right. Anything else?
No, Your Honor, I just continue to hold on to the fact that she drove the vehicle out. There was no damage claim made, and we didn't hear about it for another 10 days.
You said that you put it on, you noted it that that there was something further loosened?
Yes, Your Honor. I did a video walkthrough. Obviously, I'm not a mechanic and I had to get to work. So I did a video walkthrough to assess for any further damages and to document before I removed my vehicle from the tow yard. Because I was told by the lady at the desk before I took my vehicle that I could follow up through the claims with the email address. I didn't know that I was going to have this much trouble dealing with them for any issues later down the road. However, on review of that vehicle, once the fog light cover fell off, I did note that it had been further loosened.
Okay. The court is awarding $292.86 to the plaintiff, cost of court, post-judgment interest. And you have 21 days to appeal. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.